Welcome back to Crisco's Corner, unfiltered commentary, not your truth, the real truth. And as always, thank you for your support. Hey folks, welcome back. Small collage here of some recent interviews with America's favorite doctor, Dr. Fauci. I say that sarcastically, of course. He is no America's favorite by any stretch of the imagination. Those of you that are older remember Marcus Welby, MD. Or I'll take Dr. House over this guy anytime. One of my favorite shows of all time. But I digress. Let's listen to the talking heads now in the mainstream media or lamestream media. All of a sudden now, they have questions. And they're wondering what's this and what's that. And amazingly enough, when those same questions were asked just a year ago or just prior or during the 2020 election cycle, places here like YouTube and other social media sites consider that just horrific and misinformation. Let's listen to America's Doctor.
What about the next booster shot? For a substantial part of the population, they're now moving into the 5th month of their booster. So does it lose its effectiveness, and how soon should they get another one, if that's your advice?
Well, the answer, Margaret, honestly, is that we don't know, because we don't know the durability of protection from the 3rd shot boost of an mRNA.
Now, I have to say up front, since I have a community guideline strike because I gave out misinformation on health matters and blah, blah, blah. And so for 90 days, I have to walk a fine line. I'm not saying don't do this. I'm not saying do that. Consult your physician, and whatever you and your doctor decide what's best for you, do that. That way, I don't get in trouble. We just simply don't know. You know, it's amazing to me. He couldn't say that at the very beginning because of the fact is his ego won't allow it. But as the facts start slowly filtering out, some truths are coming to light. Let's listen on.
RNA and the 2nd shot boost of a J&J. Certainly you are going to see the antibody levels go down. That's natural. But there's an element of the immune response, B-cell memory and T-cell responses, where even though you do see a diminution of antibody levels, it is quite conceivable, and I hope it's true, that the 3rd shot boost will give a much greater durability of protection. We're following that very carefully. And when I say protection, Martha, I mean protection against severe disease. You are going to see breakthrough infections, as we've seen now, even in boosted people. But for the very most part, they're mild or even asymptomatic. That's where we would like to be, is to have that where you don't have to get more and more always every 6 months with a booster. We may need to boost again. That's entirely conceivable.
There are some schools.
15 days to stop the spread. Now, before we continue with the next little snippet of information, this woman here, I forget her name, nor do I care, is the one that actually on election night, November 2020, was in tears when President Trump won. And she was just like, how am I going to explain to veterans and their families and servicemen and women around the world that this guy is just, how do I do it? I just don't know what's going to happen to us. I know she hasn't said a word about the 13 that were killed in the terrorist bombing in Kabul. All American soldiers. Not a peep. In fact, the only thing, this is what we got from her. Now, all of a sudden now, these people are journalists. Now, they're not real journalists yet, but they're a lot closer than they were. What's changed? Trump's not there anymore. That was their goal from the very beginning. So any information they give you or reports they give you are all skewed because their goal was not to inform the American people. The talking heads' goal was to get rid of Donald Trump. Well, you got what you wanted. How's it taste?
Or removing the mask mandate and leaving that up to parents. Are those kids safe? Is it safe to send your kids back to school without masks?
Well, Martha, as we know, the CDC strongly recommends that when you're in a situation in the school, we want to get the children back to school. And the way you do that, you do it by multiple things that you do. You surround the children with people who are vaccinated. For the children who are eligible to be vaccinated, get them vaccinated and provide in the school masks where you can have children protected, as well as ventilation.
You notice he doesn't answer the question. Basically what she's saying is, should masks be mandatory in schools? And of course he dances all around it. We strongly suggest, we strongly this, and we strongly that. But yet this twerp, this spineless moron, I'm sorry I'm being critical, but he is. He's a bureaucrat. A bureaucrat. And I have to say again, when it comes to the vaccine, consult your doctor. What's best for you, you and your doctor decide. He just can't commit to anything. Like most bureaucrats, one, he won't answer the question. And two is, it's a non-denial denial, as they say in the old days. Let's listen on. I'm sorry to put you through this.
To make sure that you can get a respiratory infection at its lowest level of infectivity. All of those things go together, and masking is a part of that.
One of the issues, it's not just availability of the vaccine, right? More than 63%.
All of a sudden now, this correspondent, an NBC, MSNBC, all of a sudden now they're asking strong questions. She asked some very good questions to Secretary of State Blinken, and now she's basically calling on the carpet, so to, from their version of it, Dr. Fauci. And all of a sudden now, as the old saying goes, they grew a spine. They became quasi-journalists now. They haven't gotten quite to be journalists yet. It'll take us several more years, but let's listen on.
Of the country is vaccinated, but only 40% is boosted. And let's be honest, information and communication around boosters has been really problematic. Even today, the pivoting of communication around what it means to be vaccinated, that is really difficult for people, and it's causing people to not go get the booster. How do you fix that?
Yeah. Well, you try to be clear and concise and articulate.
Yeah, I put the long laughter on this one and let this run out because I think he deserves all of it. Clear, concise, and articulate. You have to be. You have to be kidding me, right? Wow. Are these, they got to be sociopaths because the fact that, how can they just sit there and lie like that consistently over time? It's amazing to me. Absolutely incredible.
You think that's what's happened so far?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that.
So when we read headlines like the school system in Flint, Michigan has decided now
I'm not going to comment on that.
to go virtual again indefinitely, does that make sense to you? Given all the tools we do have at our disposal right now, sending school kids home again, you think that's a good idea?
Well, I can't comment.
He's got this look on his face like he just got a gas pain. All of a sudden now she's asking real questions. Maybe they went to night school in the last few months to learn journalism. I can't answer that. And then he pretends to rattle on and rattle on and rattle on. Let's go back and get this question.
That's a good idea?
Well, I can't comment on any individual school district.
I can't comment. But then I'll continue to comment and talk my behind off about something that had nothing to do with the school district or the question. It's amazing to me. Amazing to me. People can talk this much and say absolutely nothing.
Because things differ from district to district, and I think that would be unfair.
Children 12 and up being held.
And that would be unfair. Well, I wonder how strong the teachers union in Flint is. Maybe that has something to do with it. Now, this last one here is going to be interesting, to be sure.
California could soon begin to make their own decisions when it comes to getting vaccinated. It's all because of a new controversial proposal by San Francisco Senator Scott Wiener, where preteens and teens could get the green light for any vaccine approved by the FDA without parental consent, including the shot against COVID-19.
This is really important
Now,
in terms of teens being able
how amazing is this that we have a state senator from the whack job city of San Francisco by the name of Wiener. How perfect is this? This is almost a Babylon Bee skit. Let's listen on.
to protect their own health. Almost 1 million 12 to 17-year-olds in California remain unvaccinated for COVID. And a lot of those teens would get vaccinated if their parents would let them.
Well, a lot of those teens would also grab the keys to the car without a driver's license and drive down the freeway. A lot of those teens, if they had the keys to the liquor cabinet, would get drunk on the weekends partying. A lot of those teens, if they were allowed, would be able to smoke weed and do other drugs. A lot of those teens would just stop going to school. A lot of those teens would engage in sexual activity at 13 and 14 if the state let them. What's happening is the state wants to be the parent. You're just the custodial. You're not even the custodial parent if anybody's been in a divorce. The state is the custodial parent. They have physical custody and make the decisions for the child. You're the divorced father. Parents are the divorced father. They have a say. They can talk how they want to, but their opinions mean nothing.
Under current state law, minors over the age of 12 cannot be vaccinated without the stamp of approval from their parents or guardian, unless the vaccine is to prevent an STD.
Now, if you're a 13-year-old, you can get a shot to prevent an STD, and you don't have to tell your parents. California is a wake-up call to all of us what's coming for the rest of us. It's been that way for decades. It comes down to simply this, and I'm going to say it again because I got in trouble with YouTube with a community strike. Do what's best for you. Consult your doctor, and whatever your doctor or you decide to do, take that course. It's just that simple. But it comes down to this simply. We don't trust you anymore. We simply don't trust you anymore. It's, we're not warm and fuzzy, hanging on every word you say like we were in 2020. You've very quickly, that's one of the things that I wish Trump had done. Just fired this guy's ass. Just fired him. Right on a live news conference. Remember they used to stand around when Trump was doing them every day and his poll numbers were coming up? Just with Fauci standing there, go up, lean up to the microphone, and he's famous for this. You should have done it. People would have applauded. Even people that hated him would have got a huge kick out of it. Dr. Fauci, we wish you well. We wish you well somewhere else. You're fired. President Trump, you should have done it. And I'm a big supporter of yours. You effed up on this one. Until next time, folks, goodbye and good luck.